Hey, welcome to another video and thanks for clicking on this one. In this video, I just want to share some of the knowledge that I know and have about aviation interviews. There are 4 things that are crucial when you're going for an interview, and it requires that you do some planning, some preparation, some work well in advance. The first step that I'm going to share with you requires that we bring some things to life. When you show up to an interview for an aviation job, the goal is to see that you have the transferable skills, the competencies that I talk about on this channel, which if you do not know what those are, again, you can check it out in the link below. You see some guides there that can help. But the goal is that you want to prove that you have what it takes to do the job and do it excellently well. One of the first things that I will share with you is that if you haven't subscribed, of course, feel free to subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to drop a like on this video. The next thing is I do come on live once in a while. I know that I don't schedule this because of the way my own schedule is personally, but my goal is to always communicate and share ideas on live sessions, answer your questions, provide resources, things like that. So I actually had a live yesterday, and a lot of you guys who have subscribed to this channel asked some very crucial questions, some in regards to interviews, some in regards to just applying to flight schools. And the goal is to give you this information in a way that hopefully you can walk away feeling that you have a plan of action. So feel free to subscribe, feel free to drop your comments or questions in the comment section. I'll try to respond, and let's get into the video. Now, one of the first things that I will say is that when it comes to any aviation interview, like I mentioned, they want to see that you have the right skills. Now, what skills or competencies are we talking about? Now, there are a range of competencies that you need to have, and let me share my screen here. The first one that I would say is, of course, good communication skill. All right, and spell good communication skill. Now, the thing to remember about communication isn't that you should be able to speak fast and say whatever comes to mind. No, the goal is to see that there's a thought process in how you share things. So when we talk about communication, we're thinking about, okay, based on a question, some of these questions that you'll be asked during an interview will test your communication skill. A good example could be, you have to talk to a captain about a conflict-related matter, right? That sometimes tests how you are able to either convey information, convey your worries, convey your safety concerns. All of that can be tested under the communication aspect. The next one is customer service. All right. How do you make sure that you are able to provide excellent customer service? That means deliver information that is prompt, apt, and of course pertinent to the situation that you have ongoing. So for example, is it a delay? Is it something that could scare passengers? Is it something that maybe it just shows that you empathize with the customers based on something beyond your control? For example, weather. All of those factors will test how you definitely relay information and how you empathize, and of course keep customer service at the back of your mind. So you might get asked questions like, hey, how do you handle a situation in which you've just experienced bad weather, the flight is delayed? What did you do, or how would you do it, depending on your level of experience? Sometimes if you're an experienced pilot, they might ask you, how did you handle this in the past? If you're somebody who's going through a cadet program, they might say, how will you handle this? And there's some grace that is extended to you here, because they know that as a cadet pilot, you may not have the experience required, but they want to see that at least you have the right thought process about what you are going to say, and you don't say something that would put people off or scare them off. Now, when it comes to communication, one of the other important areas that you need to remember is that communication does have, you have the sender, which will be you have the medium. These are the channels, or at least the aspect of communication, all right? The factors that needs to be considered: the sender, the person sending the information, in this case that's the sender, the medium in which the information is sent. So is it over the radio? Is it through voice chat, through voice communication, or talking to the person face to face? Is it over the phone, right? All of this medium, for example, is it text messages, or is it a message sent via the ACARS, okay, the systems on board airplanes, right? Depending on what medium in which the message is sent, sometimes context can be lost, right? Which means full understanding of the issue may not be addressed or understood by the receiver, and that's the next person or the next important person that is crucial when you send a message. You send a message, there must be somebody hopefully receiving the message. Now, there's an important one that comes afterwards, which will be feedback. All right. The thing is, when you send a message and it's understood, you, the sender, needs to verify that this message has been received, and you get that through a feedback. So, for example, through radio communications, there's a reason why we ask to read back instructions to make sure it's understood. Of course, if you have questions, ask questions. The same is crucial even during your interview. There are times when you may be asked a question that tests your ability to give and receive, okay, and receive feedback. And you want to make sure that when you are giving feedback, you give feedback based on certain factors. So, for example, if you're going to give feedback to somebody about a performance, or how you have received feedback about your performance, they want you to be able to demonstrate that you can handle whether it's negative criticism or constructive criticism. Okay, they want to see that you can also deliver negative news to somebody or constructive criticism to somebody who may not maybe be up to standard about something, maybe it's a landing, or maybe it's just a procedure. And they want to see that you have the ability to give that information in a way that you don't bring the person down, but rather you build them up. So you empathize with the person based on the situation. It is crucial. And this feedback goes in line with customers, goes in line with your crew members. And of course, it's also required even when you are debriefing yourself. When you talk to yourself about, how did I perform today? Right? On maybe it's a procedure, maybe it's a training event. You want to be able to look at the situation objectively and pick what you did well, what you need to improve on, and how you would improve. And most importantly, if you're somebody who is in a position or the question is structured around maybe you have a superior, you want to always ask for feedback. Okay, what did I do well, or what could I have done better? Those things would help in the way you're seen, or at least the way you're graded in the communication aspect. I hope this makes sense. Now, there is one more area that I would like to touch on that communication. And when you are communicating a problem to somebody, or telling somebody about a situation, or trying to resolve a problem, whatever that may be, your communication needs to be structured. All right? Structured. And that is because if it is not structured, okay, that means there's no beginning, there's no end, and it's all over the place. You are likely to confuse or derail the person that you're communicating to. And, that's why you can always, there's this, it's not an acronym, but the 5 W's, maybe it's an acronym. 5 W's, the who, the what, the when, and actually the how, and one more, I can't remember now. But those factors needs to be considered. It's not 5 W's, but I think I call it 5 W's. But it's not 5 W's. It's the who, the when, the what, the how, and the why. Okay? Those factors needs to be established in whatever you're sharing with somebody in order for the person to fully understand what is going on. If you keep that in mind under any form of, say, especially with a team exercise, a group exercise, an emergency situation and maybe you're trying to give instructions on what you want the person to do, it is important to establish those factors clearly in whatever you share. I hope this makes sense. I just wanted to touch on this communication in this video before the video gets too long. I wanted to let you know that these are the things that they are looking out for in no particular order. Okay, in no particular order. If you have found value in this one, please don't forget to drop a like on the video, and of course, I'd love to see you in the future one.